one smile at what we go through. One stop to the rhythm that divides you. And I speak to you like the chorus to the verse. Drop another line like a coda with the curse. Coming like a freak show, take the stage. We give them the games to play. So say, I want something else to get me through this semi-time kind of life. Baby, baby, I want something else. I'm not listening when you say the sky was gold, it was rose. I was taking sips of it to my nose, and I wish I could get back there, someplace back there, smiling in the pictures you would take. Doing crystal meth will lift you up until you break. It won't stop. I won't come down and keep stop with the tick-tock rhythm. I bumped for the drop and then I bumped up. I took the hit that I was given, then I bumped again, then I bumped again. Then how do I get back there to the place where I fell asleep inside you? How do I get myself back to the place where you said I want something else to get me through this semi-time kind of life? Baby, baby, I want something else. I'm not listening when you say goodbye. I believe in the sand beneath my toes. The beach gives a feeling, an earthy feeling. I believe in the faith that grows, and the fluoride gold can make me cry. When I'm with you, I feel like I could die, and that would be alright, alright. And when the plane came in, she said she was crafted. The velvet strip infinity would shift on the earth to feel alive. And now I'm struggling to survive those days you were wearing that velvet dress. You're the priestess, I must confess. Those little red panties, they pass the test. Let's look around the belly, face down on the mattress. One, and you hold me, and we are broken. Still excited, I wanna feel just a little. Now feel myself heavy off the ground. I'm scared, I'm not coming down. No, no, and I won't run from my life. See, got the thoughts now locked down in a smile, but nothing is alright, alright. And I want something else to get me through this life. Baby, I want something else. Not listening when you say
And good morning, everybody. How are we doing?
Doing great.
All right. There it is.
I'm doing great.
I didn't know if that was Jeremy or if that was you. I thought I heard somebody that was saying something important. It is Friday.
It's probably my background, honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest. So
it does sound like a hot mic today, and that's the way we like it. We like Jeff up close, nice and spicy on a Friday. It is Friday. It is the Friday before Super Bowl, and it would not be an uninformed fan show without a mic drag across the desk. We are live. We are here, and we are ready to go.
It's the first one.
Of course, it's the first of many that's going to be today. I'm sure in 15, 20 minutes into it, I'll probably have to say something. But, Jeffrey, how are we feeling today? It's Friday. I know I didn't get a chance to get with you Wednesday. I apologize. It just didn't. So what happened was I had a guy at our community that was redoing all of the community lighting. He did all of the Muse lighting. They took my advice awesome because I said, hey, we don't need lights everywhere. Just put lights on the trees shooting up, and then everything will be good. You don't need anything down the landscape. They did that. It looks beautiful. But while he was here, he was giving residents discounts, and I decided to put some perimeter lighting inside of my courtyard. He was supposed to do it Tuesday. The transformer didn't show up. It came up Wednesday. Long story short, yada, yada, yada. But now I have these beautiful lights in there. I got to catch most of the show. The Gap Wedge Wednesdays boys dropping some good knowledge. And I know that you want to talk a little bit about COD. So I'll make sure that we keep that on the burner for you.
Well, I was just curious, because I know you had privately, voiced your frustrations. Not frustrations, but you're a big supporter of Nicky Merckx and what he does over there on his stream, and I watched him a lot as well, and the three of them with Clocky used to be the fantastic three, the Verdance boys, every single day, some electrifying clips and just like the comedy that goes on just listening to them is they have a great dynamic together. I feel like
for sure
something that's not like that taught or that is forced. It's just like the three of them together is just absolutely hilarious. And Nick obviously had been canceled by COD for comments that he made that we had discussed before on the show that I thought were absolutely ridiculous that they canceled him for it. Long story short, he made his triumphant comeback. And so I was just wondering what your thoughts were basically about that happening. I don't know if you've watched it all the past 2 days since they've been back together.
I did. Well, I'll tell you, I
besides talking about Drake's member,
that got a little awkward. Like, go check out the video, Pod. Go check. I'm like, bro,
dude. So this is the funniest thing to me because we're at work, whatever day this is, Monday, I guess, the day after the video leaked. And one of my boys at work, Eric, who he's a dude, right? Like, and he's fans of Florida State, Tampa Bay, the Magic, like Braves, right? So we're always kicking it, but he's a guy's guy, and he is like all night. He's like, bro, you got to see it. You got to see it. You got to see it. It's a pool noodle. I'm like, can we?
What the fuck is a pool noodle, Dick?
At what point does this become too much? Like, at what point are you starting to make me feel uncomfortable? He wasn't, obviously, but that was kind of the joke going on. And then to hear Nick pressing the situation the same way that my boy was the night before was just hilarious.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't. But back to your previous thing.
Have you seen it?
No,
if you saw it, you would understand it.
Why? Because he has a big dick. As a black man, I expect him to have a big dick. I would be more surprised if he came out with a pencil dick or a white boy dick. So saying a black man has a big dick is not like it's earth-shattering news here.
Yeah, but you've seen some videos. This is
no,
I mean, I'm of the opinion it's got to be on PEDs, right? There's got to be some.
Okay, all right, we're moving off of this shit because I'm definitely not talking about this thing.
All right, go ahead.
There's families out here watching.
No, there's not.
Guys. Yeah, there is. Okay. We got some new viewers, by the way, guys.
JJ's at school.
Anyway, so back to the at first, my initial thought was, I said that I would rather him grind Apex, just because the boys didn't make it. They got kicked out of Pro League. Well, they didn't get kicked out. They just didn't make it far enough, and then they didn't get the invite. And so then they're a challenger circuit. And they got bounced out of that. And my first reaction was, man, I really wish he would just grind Apex and get better. Now, I also understand that Apex and their challenger circuit isn't coming out for another 30 days. But on the same token, you have two teammates that are continually grinding this game to try to figure out, when you watch some of the greats like the CEO Howell and those guys, like they know exactly where the circle's going as soon as it pops. They have played it that much. And they know exactly where they play off of each other. And I think that's a lot of the issues that the tripods have had. So initially I was like, man, I just wish he would just grind it out with these guys because I know that team is so good and I know they can compete in Pro League. But then I also understand, getting with the boys and bringing the boys back together and getting that energy. And yeah, it's 30 days away, so there's no big deal, going back to play it. It was nice to see him out there. I did watch a little bit of his intro video. The chat was absolutely wild. When he first started, calling him sellout, this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, I thought he said what he should have said, and the fact of, some things are bigger. I still stand by what I said, but I miss playing with my boys. And we all enjoyed it, and so he went back, and
I saw he took a trip to Costa Rica recently, and it seems like this decision kind of came in an enlightenment period. Sometimes you visit other countries and you visit these beautiful spots, and you have moments of brevity where things start to kind of clear out and make more sense to you, and you start to value things a little bit differently. And listen, I don't know if that's it, but I don't know also if maybe he went to Costa Rica with his wife and his kid, and he's going through different things in life now, and he's maybe just like, you know what, like, let's just have fun. Like,
I don't think
the numbers don't lie. I mean,
of course his stream is gonna pop, So when you look at that as well, you can look at, okay, well, we're not competing in Apex right now. So Apex competitively is where we get the views. We're not in that. We're not in the Pro League scrims. We're not in Challenger Circuit. We're not competing in Pro. Is anybody really going to watch us? I mean, Nick Merckx has such a faithful following, though. He's still going to get the views no matter what. But are they going to watch me just, play ranked all day long, with no incentive? And then, bringing it back to COD. And, there was a lot of things. And to your point, the gameplay of COD and the smoothness of this new version of COD just blows everything else away. And, he went back. And at the end of the day,
I told you I love it. It's just
I told you, and he's still playing his character on there. He still has it, which I think is awesome. And it was just more about being back together with the boys. And I'm very happy for him. I'm happy for Tim. I'm really happy for Clocky because, as a small time streamer,
he
Clocky,
was dead.
He's gonna kind of, but now they're back together. Now he's getting it. Maybe he can get another McLaren. But yeah, it was good to see him having fun. I'm still not a fan of the game. Just in the fact of the battle royale sense. I don't have a elite or somebody that's going to level up all my guns for me. And then, let me come in and just play the game, because that's what a true battle royale is. I'm not going to spend hours after, behind the scenes trying to level up a gun so I can play a game at the same competitive level as everyone else. So that's
definitely tough.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going to do that. But
it's tough.
It's good to see that. Good to see the boys back on there. Brought out some good times. The boys back in the day, the Fortnite days, and all that kind of good stuff. It was a good time.
To see him and Doc together. I think that's going to be pretty fun.
Doc is man. Doc's awesome. That's a great one. Well, we got some things going on. We do have something happening this weekend. I'm not sure if you're aware. I think there's a football game on this weekend. I do believe it's the last football game, so it's a very, very somber football Friday for us.
I heard
it's our last football Friday of the year.
Yeah, it is. It's sad, because now all we're gonna have is what do the Bears do with the number one pick for the next godforeseen whatever it is.
The good thing about that is supposedly at around the combine time is when they're gonna make. I mean, we can go down this if you want for just a quick second, but I mean, the rabbit hole that is opening up between Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears, and all of these other teams is absolutely wild. Obviously, the rumors are Washington is going all in on Caleb. They're going to make the Bears an offer they can't refuse. There's rumors now that Jim Harbaugh wants J.J. McCarthy. And he is apparently on record during an interview, which I saw, saying he wouldn't be surprised if J.J. McCarthy is the number one overall pick. There is now rumors that the Chargers could potentially trade Justin Herbert for the Bears for the number one pick. I mean, shit is getting wild. I think I speak for all of Bears Nation when I just say, let's just get it fucking over with at this point. I was all hyped up. The hype is over for me. Now I'm just like, this is fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, but at the same time too, like, when's the last time you've had a lot of Bears talk? Like
last year around this time. And what are they going to do with the number one pick?
But it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this.
Well, no, because nobody has the butt love for Caleb Williams out there that everybody has now.
Okay. And I think it's warranted.
You know what's amazing that we talk about him, we talk about the generational talent, and then I see other scouting reports where they say Drake May is a better built quarterback than him. I read an article today about the kid out of LSU, wide receiver. I can't remember what his name is. Harrison,
Malik
maybe?
Neighbors.
About being that there's scouts that have him over Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what it comes down. Well, that's what I'm saying, though. It just depends on who you talk to. That's all. But yeah, hopefully the Bears can.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
We're definitely in the dark days of sports. But speaking of the Bears, we did have the NFL Player Awards, including the 2024 highlights. And let me tell you, the man, the GOAT, is finally in. I do believe this was his 4th time. Absolutely egregious. The best punt returner of all time. And kickoff, I'll throw it in there. Mr. Devin Hester. Got a little tribute here for our boy here. Let's see if let's get this up there. Oh, yeah.
Hall of Fame.
I'm telling you, we're loving this new setup. And that's Usher, though.
73-yard punt return touchdown. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, but Kentucky.
Absolutely. I can't believe the Bears let him go.
Devin Hester, you are ridiculous. Yeah.
Where did he go after Chicago?
30, 20.
Atlanta. But then, when I also looked on here.
This is a guy to change the game. This is a guy that you couldn't deal with, that you had the game plan that took over the game, changed the game no matter what.
40, 30
He played with the Ravens, I think, as well. Like, he played with 4 or 5 different teams.
We think every time he goes back to receive the kick, it's something.
Boy, this was the time when, man, Bears football was just fun to watch. Electric.
Touchdown! Touchdown! Devin Hester!
The Urlacher days. Jay Cutler. Or no, this is before Jay Cutler, right? This is Sexy Rexy.
Jay Cutler was there as well.
Sexy Rexy Grossman.
When Jay Cutler is your franchise best quarterback. No offense against Jay Cutler.
You wouldn't put McMahon up there?
No. Congratulations.
Central Florida local as well, too. Devin Hester. So congrats out there. Also, you got another guy in as well to the Hall of Fame. To round it out, it was Carmichael. Is that his name?
Carmichael.
Maybe not.
What are you talking about?
Who's the other Hall
as
of
far as
Famer?
the Bears go, we got Devin Hester. Technically, Julius Peppers paid for us for a while, and then Steve McMichael.
McMichael. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
McMichael.
Carmichael. I was very off.
I don't count Julius Peppers as a Bear.
He's not. He's a Panther.
Right. Well, he also is a Packer. He went to the Packers after the Bears.
Packer either. He was a Carolina Panther.
Correct. We got him from the Panthers. After that, he played, I think, 4 seasons for us, maybe 3.
I always think about Julius Peppers just because of Carolina, right? Like, I remember him playing college basketball for North Carolina, dunking on dudes, being a beast down in the post, and then, turning around and, going to play football and being a monster on the field. The Panthers, getting them in that Super Bowl run that they had, just being an absolute dominant presence. I don't really consider him a player. I know he played other places, but he's definitely going in the Hall of Fame as a Carolina Panther, right?
You would think so. I mean, obviously, I think at that point, the only person I haven't seen claiming them is the Packers. That's the only one. But Hester played for Chicago, Atlanta, Baltimore, and Seattle. I do not remember the Seattle at all. I don't know why I don't, but I just don't. So there's that. So we did have not only the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to the full Hall of Fame class: Dwight Freeney, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, man, number 80. What a beast he was. I continued to draft him in fantasy, even at the tail end of his career, just off the name. Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis, Randy Gradishar. I don't know who's Randy Gradishar.
I have no clue. I didn't even know who your offensive lineman was who got in. But that's
linebacker. Okay. The Gradishar helmet, the vaunted Orange Crush defense that ruled the Rockies in 1970s and early 80s. So
a little before my time, so you can understand that I might not be familiar with his work, but that's okay.
Correct. I mean, I know you're not saying that I know his work, so we're just
I thought out of the two of
us, we're just gonna skip over that comment.
More toward you, but that's okay.
Let's get into the NFL awards. The Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson wins the NFL MVP. I just think it's egregious. I really do.
Why?
I just don't. Because I look at Lamar Jackson's performance, and maybe I'm biased. I don't know why I'm biased. But the season is 16 games, right? 17 games.
18 weeks, 17 games.
17 games. For the first 10 weeks of the season, we didn't talk about Lamar Jackson. We didn't talk about Lamar Jackson. He was plus 2,500 to win the MVP. 9 to 10 weeks into it.
Look at what he did against really good football teams in the regular season, though. He went nuts.
Okay, but if for the first 10 weeks you're not even in the consideration for the NFL MVP award, you're not even in consideration. It was Brock Purdy, and then I can't remember who was second, but it was Brock Purdy was like minus 400 at that point, right? Like through week 10, and I hope you're looking it up to see if we can find it. But then Lamar Jackson had a stretch of 5 good games, and all of a sudden he's the league MVP. That was just the only thing that I didn't really understand about it. Is for myself, the most valuable player is a complete season-long award. I thought he had a really good stretch of like 5 or 6 games, and apparently that won him the award. I'm not going to talk about the playoff performance or the lack thereof playoff performance, because that is irrelevant, because it is a regular season award. There's no doubt in my mind that Lamar Jackson was a great quarterback. But the fact is we talked about Brock Purdy the entire year, and Lamar Jackson and the Ravens went in there and decimated the 49ers that game. Decimated the 49ers. And that basically won it. So when was that game?
When was what game?
The 49ers.
That was on Christmas.
Ravens. Right. So December 25th is right. So we started talking about Lamar Jackson in December.
Okay.
As far as being in, because if you remember that before that November, it was Brock Purdy show. And then Lamar Jackson turned it on in December. And then towards the latter part of December is when we said, okay, well, if Lamar Jackson beats San Francisco in San Francisco, the MVP is his. Because Brock Purdy had that 3-game stretch where he didn't play well. That's my only issue, is that all the way up through November, nobody talked about Lamar Jackson being the MVP. As a matter of fact, the Baltimore Ravens were struggling. They were winning, but they were still struggling. They were winning sexy. They lost to the Steelers. We talked about that game and how we won that game. It just, to me, it just seemed like it was a 5 or 6 game stretch that they said, hey, you know what? This guy's got it. But if you took Brock Purdy over that just picked a 5 or 6 game stretch, I guarantee his numbers will probably outdo him. And according to the 3-time here, Lamar Jackson had 24 touchdowns. Purdy had 31 touchdowns, but he had that 4 interception game, obviously, against the Ravens. Again, are we talking about a small sample size, or are we talking about all 17 games? Because if you also remember, Brock Purdy led the league in pretty much every category that a quarterback could lead the league throughout the entire year. And Jeremy, I don't know if you could where he actually finished up during the regular season, but I think there was a lot of 1s and 2s in his rankings. That's my only thing. I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson doesn't deserve the consideration for the award. It just seemed to me weird that like we went through November and there was no speak of Lamar Jackson or the Baltimore Ravens, in that they turn it on in December and then boom, he's the league MVP based off his December performance, in my opinion.
I'll say this. So he had 24 touchdowns, correct, throwing. We did have 5 touchdowns rushing as well, too, when you factor that in. I think that if you look at some of the games that were big games, right? December 31st against Miami. We're talking New Year's Eve, right? Against Miami, they win 56-19. Against San Francisco the week before, December 25th, they win 33-19. Okay. They played Jacksonville the week before that. They won 23-7. They had this stretch. They played the Rams the week before that, 37-31. Okay. The Chargers before that, 20-10. Bengals before that, 34-20. Cleveland was rolling right there. They lost that game 33-31, but not because of Lamar in any way. 37-3 against Seattle. These are all teams that were right there in the playoff hunt, right? Detroit, they beat 38-6. So, Cleveland 28-3. I thought that Lamar stepped up and played well in some of the biggest moments that meant what it was for his team. I thought he had a great year.
Did he have a better year than Brock Purdy?
Is there an argument to be made? Absolutely. There's an argument to be made than Brock Purdy that Brock Purdy, meant more. I would say this. I think
CJ Stroud.
Christian McCaffrey meant more. to that team as well too. And I would say Christian McCaffrey got a little snub by not being in the MVP consideration as well. So there is that. I mean, I
mean, when you look at also CJ Stroud, now we're going to talk about him bringing home the offensive, but I mean, CJ Stroud had a 63.9 complete percentage, and Lamar, that's what and Lamar was 67. Why is this ranked?
Yeah, I mean, things are looking up.
This is yards. I'm talking about total yards. I apologize. I'm looking
if you look at Houston, CJ Stroud wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Will Anderson Jr. gets Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then Christian McCaffrey with Offensive Player of the Year. Some of the big things that were, I guess, hot button issues for people. Myles Garrett winning Defensive Player of the Year over TJ Watt. I just think that Myles Garrett was such a force on the field this year for the Browns. And it's not taking anything away from TJ Watt. And obviously, there's a ton of Steelers fans, and you guys are annoying as fuck on social media. Because you haven't won anything in a while, and this is like you feel like you were robbed or whatever. You're just like, shut up. Who cares? Myles Garrett was an absolute monster out there this year. And in my opinion, deserved the award. TJ Watt is great. Is he great every year? Yes. Did he have a few injuries here and there? A little banged up? Absolutely. Is what it is. If you have a beef with that, that's fine. You're more than welcome to as well, too. And the other one was Coach of the Year. Kevin Stefanski wins it for the second time. There was an argument to be made for DeMeco Ryans here, but
for sure,
I will say I think what Stefanski did with his quarterback carousel and uncertainty over and over and over again about who was going to be out there every single week, and to still not only get the defense up, but in situations to have the offense perform in the way they did, then to bring Flacco in and make the run that they did. I thought Stefanski deserved it as well. Not to take anything away from DeMeco Ryans. He was great this year. You also see Jim Shorts, the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, get assistant of the year as well, too. So, we see a common theme here for a few guys. So.
Yeah, I just brought up the head-to-head here. If you go to fantasypros.com, free shout out there, fantasypros.com. Just happened to put Brock Purdy and Lamar Jackson because I think Brock Purdy would probably be the only one that you would, at least from my opinion, that they talked about all year long as far as being in the conversation. He did have a better completion percentage at 69.4. He had more yards. He had more yards per passing attempt, 7 more touchdowns. He did have 4 more interceptions. But then you go to the rushing category.
Yeah.
And he had 144 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. And, of course, Lamar had the 821. I don't know. Like I said, I just feel like once that head-to-head game was over, I just felt like it was just over. I just want to understand. It just felt like it just seemed like they really weighted Lamar Jackson's stretch run there. That's all.
It's recency bias. It's what you see before you're going to turn your vote in. If you see one guy, if you're back and forth between two guys, but right before you turn your vote in, one guy throws 4 picks and one guy is just absolutely rolling over the competition. I mean, what are we doing?
But again, I just say this is a year-long
Don't disagree.
Award.
Don't disagree, but I think it's very tough. Even when you hear Travis Kelce talk about being locked in for an entire year, I think it's kind of tough to.
He didn't play the Bengals game. Yeah, so I mean, lost to the Steelers. Did beat. That's preseason. Why is this ranked like this? This is so difficult to read.
It was such a
loss to the Colts at home. Lost to the Steelers. Barely beat the Cardinals. Throttled the Seahawks. Lost to the Browns. It's in here, but I think it's just that one game. I think it was just that one game, that 49ers game where he came through and just nailed it, I guess. Look at the Dolphins game. And then did they lose to the Steelers twice? They lost to the Steelers
both times.
Anyway, congratulations to Lamar Jackson. That'll definitely help your next contract out. As you talked about earlier, I know we kind of blew through it here, but we did have Joe Flacco as the comeback player of the year. This one to me was absolutely astounding. And the reason for that being astounding is because you literally had DeMar Hamlin that died on the field last year, came back and did it. Now, of course, Jeff had this one play that he didn't do well in. But, the overall consensus, especially in the betting industry, was the fact that just DeMar Hamlin was back and on the field. He gets the award no matter what. Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, has a big fucking stink here. Now, of course, Joe Flacco did come back. Once again, let's talk about this sample size. We're talking about a 5-game stretch. He played 5 games. I don't know how these awards, who votes on these? Is this the Associated Press? Is this the players or is it a combination?
Who votes on them? I believe it's the AP. I'm sorry. I think it's the Associated Press who votes on these. They're the sports writers of America, I believe, is what the way it goes.
So once again, we're going to take this at 2 different tokens here. We're going to take DeMar Hamlin that came back from basically dying. He did play an entire season while he only played a few games. Okay, so that's just there. But then you have Baker Mayfield that arguably comes back on an $8 million friendly deal or whatever to prove himself, comes and absolutely balls out, takes the Bucks to the playoffs, and has a record year to where he's getting a huge bag. And then
maybe not from the Bucks, but we'll see.
And then you have Joe Flacco that comes in for 5 games. Now, arguably, Joe Flacco played great, but he also had very key interceptions, which cost the Browns. And he also had what was considered to be the NFL's best defense with, obviously, as you just said, Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Did anybody on the Bucks win any awards this year? Don't think so. No. Don't think so. So the fact, that's what I'm saying is like, okay, again, comeback player of the year. Not comeback player of 30% of the season. If you would have played the entire season, are we extrapolating this out to say Joe Flacco is going to put up those numbers for the entire season? No. That's why, some of these things are just kind of a joke to me. The NFL, I don't know if you have anything on that one. I think Baker got robbed.
No, I don't think Baker got robbed. I thought he was good this year. Great. Even I don't know how that's going to translate going forward for the next few years. A lot of things, obviously Tampa Bay just hired the offensive coordinator from Kentucky, as well as the guy who was with Baker when he was in LA with McVay as well too. There's a lot of talk there, but when you hear Baker talk, everything is about, we will come to a decision. We will make this happen. We will go through the process. And he's talking about him and his agent. So, and listen, if I'm Baker,
Bucks are not paying him $45 million a year.
No. And if I'm Baker, I'll root for Baker rest of my life. Like, I underline tones, you know what I mean? Like, obviously if he's playing somebody I'm not going for, then I won't. But I don't see the Bucks having their hand forced. Like, I think and I think somebody else will pay him too. I think that somebody else will pay him. I think he's probably has a relationship with Raheem Morris from being there for a while as well too. Because Raheem Morris was in LA, he could always go to LA. I think there's still possibilities where somebody's going to want a vet to come in. I can see Pittsburgh going after him as well. I think that's a great landing spot for him. I think there's going to be great opportunities for him this year. And I could just see it happening for him.
Hot take here. Baker's market depends on what the Bears do.
In what way?
Well, it's a rough day over there, bro. Some people are just not happy. It happens. It's okay.
They're not people. They're like miniature aliens right now.
Demon child, as one would say.
Satan spawn.
I'll say this because I think Baker Mayfield to Atlanta seems sexy, and I'll tell you a good reason for that is obviously keeping it in the division and basically lifting whatever playbooks and ideas that you have out of Tampa go to your rival. But, obviously when I'm talking about the Bears is because there's interest from Atlanta for Justin Fields. There's another one that's coming out that says that they're going to give him their second round pick and Kyle Pitts to get the number 1 pick. Obviously, I would love to see Kyle Pitts.
Are they swapping ones with you then? Are you?
I think so. Yes, I think so. So we would go 1 to 8 or 8. I think they're at 8, and we get Kyle Pitts.
And you get Kyle Pitts.
I don't think that's enough.
I don't think it's enough either.
There might have been another a pick in the back end over there. That's just I kind of
Okay.
glanced over it because I kind of got a little bit of a chub. Obviously, wanting Kyle Pitts to play for the Chicago Bears and get out of Atlanta where he's not being utilized. I mean, and that's what I'm talking about. We talked about Washington possibly moving up. Washington needs a quarterback. If Washington can't get anything done, I mean, that could be a potential landing spot as well. I think that they're going to get somebody out of there, but that might be something where you bring in a Baker on a 1 year again to groom your starting quarterback. I think that there's no issues with drafting a quarterback 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, and saying, hey, we want you to learn a little bit. We want you to learn a bit before we go out there, because we've seen it over and over. It doesn't translate. So I think whatever the Bears do with this number 1 pick, wherever Caleb Williams goes, wherever Justin Fields goes, I think that's going to determine what happens with some of these free agent markets.
Okay, I agree with you. It's funny. I was watching this. I saw this thing pop up on my one of my Facebook groups, and it said "Bar Rescue," but you have Saban and Belichick going to different football programs. I don't know why it just made me think of this. But you have Saban and Belichick going to different football programs to help turn them around, or fix what's going on there, or help with a coaching search or something like that. I think that'd be must-see TV. I agree with you. I think that listen, this Caleb Williams thing is not going to go away. It's going to be the entire offseason. We have until April. We have 2 more months of it, 3 more months of it, 2.5 more months of it.
When is the combine?
So, I don't know, but usually the draft is like April 20 something, or April in between the 16th and the 24th, somewhere in there. So I'm assuming it's going to be right in there again this year. And I know they say
starts at the end of February.
I know they say that it's going to go to the combine. I completely disagree, because I think the combine, you're not going to have everybody participate in the combine, first of all, right? The big guys are going to wait till their pro day to go off and show everything off. Then it's going to be shown off so much that then the hype is really going to start to react to it. It's just,
I think the Bears will have something in place by the combine, so that way people can kind of see where they're going to be at,
what up,
see who they're going to be, see who they got. And then that way they can evaluate the talent that they're really going to go after at that point in time. I mean, we're talking about the combine here. It starts the 29th for defensive linemen and linebackers. We're all talking about the quarterbacks, though. That is Saturday, March 2nd.
Yeah.
That is the day that we're all waiting on. Hopefully, like I said, it gets done. We'll see what happens. Justice, what's going on, my boy? Appreciate you spreading the love there on both platforms there. Love that.
Justice, you already missed the Drake talk. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not going back to that. So to your point here about TJ Watt, right? So there was a point, a post by Jersey Jerry, another NFL rig job. Imagine looking at this and giving the guy on the left the award because he's never won it. And it compares Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, and Micah Parsons, which obviously TJ Watt is going to excel, and he has higher numbers on all of these. Micah Parsons actually chimed in, says, horrible take. Myles was the better player. Reality of the situation. Myles faced way more double teams and effect on quarterbacks. Fans, please stop looking at stats and look at film, please. So, with that being said, every award that we have is stat-based.
I think there's context. I think there's definitely context to things.
Is it not primarily all stat-based, though?
Yes, because stats matter and numbers don't lie.
I disagree with you.
But
he's an NFL defensive player. He was up for it, and he can make that assumption better than I can. This is why I feel like take the shit away from like the Pro Bowl, man. The fans are voting in Pro Bowl. Give me a break. I'm sorry, but the Associated Press, I mean, you can say they don't have bias. They have bias. That's why I feel like the players should be the ones that take care of all of these awards. If you get nominated by your players, the people that you go to war with, the people that you battle against, and they say you're the best, then you're the best. Not somebody sitting on a YouTube screen saying, oh my God, look at this, look at that. That's why I feel like it should just go there. But yeah, so we did, just to wrap up the NFL awards here, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud. That was going to be an absolute no-brainer. What a season. I cannot wait to see if he can continue what he started this year. If he continues to go up, bro, woo, dog.
Be interesting to see how he responds next year. I do think if we're looking at places where Mike Evans could land, I would say watch out for Houston because I do think that could be a real landing spot for Mike as well. Although they need more help in other areas, but knowing Mike's connection to the state of Texas and everything like that, that would be one that would have me a little bit worried.
I
I'd
be worried about Texas, but I will say this: as far as it's a tax-free state, just like Florida, so people could say that doesn't matter.
He's an A&M kid. He's from Texas. You see him at Houston basketball games all the time. He's still active in that community. I'd be very, very curious.
I don't think you get them both. I don't think you get Baker and Mike, even though that's what they want, or supposedly that's what they're saying. Yes, I don't think you get them both. So
they put out a thing yesterday on Twitter, saying it was an interesting worded tweet, basically saying like run it back or something like that with Mike Evans and Baker touchdowns to each other. So
I really wish we could get Kyle Trask on this show. Kyle, if any of your people ever get on, I'd love to pay you to be on the show. I'll pay you to be on here. I just love your mindset. And I know you're going to have all the right answers and you're going to say, I'm doing what's expected of me. I'm doing my job. I'm continuing to learn. And, if I get my shot, I would just love, I would just love to get his mindset, bro. I don't care either way what happens as far as, what the coaches decide. But just like that, fuck. You could keep Mike Evans and do him. And obviously, I don't know. Apparently, he's just not a good quarterback. I don't know. All right. I'm taking your permissions away after this show, obviously. With that, let's talk a little big game action here. It sucks we can't even say the word without potential. It's a copyright. You're not allowed to say it.
You can't say.
No, you can't.
Why did you not tell me this before we started the show today?
Well, I thought, yesterday Wednesday when you guys went into that, I didn't think that you were going to talk about it, but if you did see on the outline, it said big game. And then I tune in and there's a giant banner on the bottom that says SB. I'm like, oh God, here we go. But you guys, you can't say it on the radio stations. You can't, unless you pay to have the license to use the word, you cannot use it. It is trademarked.
What are they going to do?
Sue you.
For what?
Money.
I'm not making money off of it.
It doesn't matter.
So I can't talk about it to my friend at the bar.
Are you on a publicly televised podcast? Of course, people peer-to-peer are going to say SB game. But if you're on a platform, radio, television, podcasting, any of that, you're not allowed to say the word.
Yeah, tell the NFL they can suck my dick, bro.
It's not the NFL. That's the weird thing. It's some idiot that back in the day said, you know what? I'm going to trademark this so people can't say it and have
tell that guy
to use it.
From the back all the way, please.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's get into it. It is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers, the juggernaut of the San Francisco 49ers offense. Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, all those big names going up against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and that's where we leave it on the offensive side. Obviously, Rashid Rice has shown up. Is Pacheco playing?
Yeah.
Because I know that he was hurt there at the end. And then obviously Jared McKinnon is going to be leading that backfield. I think that the key to this game for
I'm just away. I'm on Hard Rock Bet right now, and it says big game exclusive, big game MVP.
Yeah. Do you think I would lie to you? Do you think I would be uninformed? Then if they do own the trademark now, then they bought it from the guy.
This is bullshit.
It is. But it's all right. It's okay.
Probably sweatshirt inside out too.
It's literally been that for like 20 years, maybe 10. But anyway, I think that the biggest thing to this game is not Brock Purdy, is not Patrick Mahomes, it's not Christian McCaffrey, and it's not Travis Kelce. The key to this game is going to be coming out of the Kansas City backfield with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Isaiah Pacheco, and Jared McKinnon. Why? Because this is a big game. The biggest. The last game of the year. And we've already seen the issues with some of the wide receivers. If you look back to the last playoff game, the amount of production that Kansas City got out of that backfield with Clyde Edwards-Helaire running small wheel routes, screen passes, the hard running of Jared McKinnon, it was an absolute masterclass. I look for more of the same. I look for the dink and dunks, the yards after catch, and then the occasional deep ball. Patrick Mahomes will do what Patrick Mahomes does. I'm very curious to see how Brock Purdy handles this situation. He has been shaky at some points, and then he has turned it on when it needed to be turned on. He single-handedly won the game, last game for him, with his legs and getting those extra yards. He always comes out looking cool and collective, even when he makes the mistakes. You know, a couple of those passes to Green Bay should have been intercepted. I'm very curious about him, as I'm sure everyone else. I think that obviously Shanahan and the 49ers will have a game plan for him to get Debo and McCaffrey heavily involved from the start to settle everything down. And then I think you will see in the second half, Brock Purdy settle in and get the show done. I like San Francisco here. I know that we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes, and we don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. I agree with you. I definitely think it's going to be a very good game. I think that just the San Francisco 49ers are deeper. I wouldn't say that they have more playoff experience because obviously the Chiefs have been there every year for the last 6 years, it feels like. I just feel like the San Francisco team wants it more. I mean, when you go to 6 straight AFC championships and you have 3 Super Bowls already, it's not that you don't want it more, but there's just a different hunger when you haven't had food on your plate. The Chiefs have been eating for years. I think that's going to be the difference.
I disagree because I think that once you've tasted it, you need it again. It's like a hit of dopamine.
Well, the 49ers were in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah, but they didn't win. And they don't know what
the
feeling of that success is like. And if you watch that game.
But they felt the defeat.
And listen, I'll say this. I am rooting. I just want to preface this with this. I'm rooting for the 49ers. I will openly root for San Francisco. I hope they win. Obviously, Logan playing for them, Frank being a good friend of mine, DCAS being out there. I will be rooting for San Francisco. I hope they win. That being said, what will I be betting for the big game? It will be Chiefs money line. I will be having Chiefs +2. If we're looking at a little game specials that we can look at as well, different things, I will say, like Travis Kelce at +1100 on game MVP. I believe you can get, where was the one I saw with the full game? Hold on. I need to get out of this. I'm in the wrong window. There's other things that I saw too, where there's a one out there where it's let's go big game exclusives. Why am I missing it? Full game specials. There we go. It was for the Kansas City Chiefs to win on a walk-off field goal. Or I'm sorry, any team to make a game-winning walk-off field goal to end regulation. It is +850.
I like that.
Love the odds on that.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a lot of signs, and we talk about things, and I know we've seen, listen, Taylor Swift.
Break down the 13 sign
lucky number 13. Obviously her trip from Tokyo is going to take 13 hours. Obviously, this is Super Bowl 58. 5 + 8 is going to equal 13. Obviously, they're playing the 49ers. 4 + 9 is going to equal 13. She's been to 12 games so far this year. The Super Bowl will be the 13th game that she is attending this year as well, too. I just think for me, there's just too many things and factors that are going into this. Brock Purdy wears number 13. I could see him having a really bad game. The Taylor Swift juju really mattering. This is the 1 seed versus the 3 seed in terms of the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, makes number 13. I think the final score of this game, 25-24. 25-24, Kansas City Chiefs. Harrison Butker with a game-winning walk-off field goal. Do the math on the score. 13. All adds up. 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 4 equals 13. I don't know.
You dug deep for that one.
Numbers really matter. Numbers really matter.
You really dug deep on that one.
Oh God! Yeah, whatever.
When the conspiracy theory is not right in your face, sometimes you got to do a little digging, guys. You got to pull it out there. I will say that reel that you sent me was pretty wild, and we've looked back at prior events and things that have happened before, and we're like, when they break something down like that, we're like, oh shit! I think this is the first time that we've got that preemptively.
Yeah,
I think it's the first time. I think it's the first time that we've come out beforehand and said, wait a minute, the matrix numbers are adding up. But my question is, does it all skew towards the Kansas City Chiefs side because of Taylor Swift? Right? I mean, that's where it starts, right? Taylor Swift, 13 hours for her flight. What all the other stuff. It all starts with T Swift, right? And so T Swift is the Illuminati. She runs the Illuminati.
Calm down. T Swift is salt of the earth. All right. She seems like just the sweetest girl in the world. I'm watching video.
What is it? What does it say that the wolf tends to come in sheep's clothing?
I'm watching video of her and she's like walking up to people like, hi, I'm Taylor. Like
no shit.
Yeah. like she's just like a normal person. And I just think there's something so like wholesome about that. I don't know, man. Like I just think everything kind of turns to that. Like I said, I like if you could find it somewhere. They're not offering on Hard Rock, but I saw somewhere was offering it about the proposal after the game. I would parlay, like I said, Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. I do like the over on the Brock Purdy rushing. I think it's at 12.5 yards or something like that. I think they found something in terms of that scrambling ability for Purdy. When the play breaks down, I wouldn't be surprised to see that go down as well too. But yeah, those are some of the little specials that I like as well. Any team to make a game-winning walk-off field goal to end regulation at plus 850. The Chiefs plus 2 in the money line. Money line's pretty much even money. So I don't even know if I'll take the money line. I'll probably just take the plus 2 because I'd rather just pay the minus 110 and have 2 points. If they lose by 1, be happy that I won the bet, then have even money on something and be forced into not catching any points. So that, like I said, Travis Kelce, game MVP. If you can parlay Travis Kelce, game MVP, and the proposal on the field after the game together, throw a buck on it. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like we're literally talking about throwing $1. You know what I mean?
Okay. I didn't know what your unit size was there. A buck can mean
whatever you want to. What I'm saying is that, like, let's say that all happened, right? Let's say he wins MVP, he proposes on the field, they win, right? Those 3 things parlayed together. I'm not sure the odds, but I think anything when you're parlaying multiple over $1,000 or over plus 1,000s together is going to be a pretty hefty payout for you.
Well, and it should, because do you know how hard it's going to be for Travis Kelce to become the MVP over Patrick Mahomes? Because you got to realize, unless Travis Kelce does something amazing with yards after the catch, that those receptions, those things are going to Patrick Mahomes' credit, and he will get the MVP award. So
I'm sorry. Also, the over Kelce receiving is 70.5. He's gone over that in pretty much like every game. Also, one other thing too, the Chiefs to score on their first drive. I think they've done it in the playoffs like 14 games in a row. They've scored on the very first drive of the playoffs. So that's another interesting one as well too. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying, if Travis comes out with 150 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Patrick Mahomes puts up 350 with 4 touchdowns, it's going to Mahomes. That's the only. Yeah, it will. It will.
So let me give you another little.
Do you know how Super Bowl biased the MVP is?
All right, but we are also talking about who is the one giving the award. Who votes on that award?
I don't know. Somebody that's probably not qualified.
Jeremy, I understand he only rushed for more than 12 yards in 4 games this regular season. I'm saying I think they found something in that last game that might end up working out a little bit better for them in terms of him getting loose in the pocket. And if you think about it, that's 1 rush at the end of the game. You know what I mean? Like they're in a 3rd and 15. He leaks out of the pocket somewhere, runs to try to get the first down, ends up picking it up. I just want
to go back a little ways here. Okay. And I just want to show you why I don't believe that Travis Kelce will ever win the Super Bowl MVP award. Last year, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback. The year before that, Cooper Kupp. Why was it Cooper Kupp? He only had 8 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, because it was his break off after the catches, his ability to extend the plays and get those yards, because those were dink and dunks. One before that, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Before that, Julian Edelman, 10 catches, 141 yards. Again, that's the exact same.
I could see something like that from Trav, though. And he also made the incredible catch, right, off the the tip ball that he caught right before it hit the ground, and that huge comeback win as well, too. So
I will agree, but going back all the way to Super Bowl XLII, which I don't know what that one is. I'm sorry, my Roman numerals. That was there's been 3 wide receivers in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. In the last 18 Super Bowls, there's been 3 wide receivers, and to my knowledge, there has never been a tight end MVP of a Super Bowl.
We've never seen a tight end like this, though.
Really?
Wow.
Gronk?
Hold on. Let me just walk that back a little bit.
Yeah.
Pause on what I said.
I love the energy that's coming out there. And I think the problem, again, is that I see with tight ends is things of that nature. They are good passes. They're 15, 20 yards, but there's very rare that there's yards after the catch. So unless there's yards after the catch, the quarterback is always going to get the credit for the catch, no matter what. Even if it's like an Odell Beckham over the arm, whatever, I still think that 80% of the credit is going to the quarterback in that position. That's the only thing why I feel like it's skewed.
One other thing I forgot to mention about the lucky number 13 is, you know what Super Bowl this is, right? I'm sorry. You know what? You know what big game this is. I apologize.
Oh, shit, yeah. So this is Super Bowl 51.
Big game. This is big game number
57.
58. So this is big game number 58.
51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. Oh, it's 58.
What's 5 plus 8?
That's another 13.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing, right? And
win MVP?
Huh?
Is there odds for Taylor Swift winning some type of
award?
No,
but here's what the 3-time just gave us in the chat, right? The MVP is awarded by a mix of fans and media members. A panel of 16 football writers and broadcasters account for 80% of the vote, while fans are going to count for 20% of the vote.
When do the fans vote? I've never voted for a Super Bowl MVP.
No clue. But if there's a fan thing, right, for the big game, and you have Taylor Swift fans that are able to skew this a little bit. I mean, come on.
I would agree with that, but I would also feel like it's like categories and they're weighted, right? So like the fan vote is going to carry a 15% weight 20%. No matter what.
Carries 20%.
I meant a weight. Nah, I don't think it's going to be even if it only carries 20%, that's not going to be enough to bump off the writers and broadcasters.
Yeah.
I got to see this. How do fans vote for Super Bowl? Oh, big game MVP.
I can't believe we have to do this. It's so ridiculous.
Fans voting electronically. Okay, well,
for the 2 people that are watching, and it's probably both of your screens.
I have okay. So let me address that real quick. So yes, I do have some screens up, but the problem is like with Twitch, YouTube, and all of that. If there's no interaction, like if you're just watching and there's no interaction in the chat, it actually drops your viewership off. Like I can go into Twitch right now. I'm just going to bring this up for a second. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people in our chat right now. And it shows that we have 1 viewer. That's what I don't like about some of these platforms and the numbers. Because, when I'm trying to go out and get that multi-million-dollar deal, these are the numbers. This is why people use viewer bots. We don't do that here, but that's why people do, because Twitch and these other streaming platforms don't give you the credit if people are interacting all the time throughout your stream. And in a podcast, regardless if you want to interact or not, a lot of times this is background noise, right? You have it on the background in your vehicle, some things of that nature, and you can't comment or something. So that is one of the things that's very skewed. Very skewed.
I just saw this where they have a celebration of the year in the NFL honors.
I don't know, dude.
And it went to Tommy DeVito for the
Oh, for celebrations. That thing cut on, man. Tommy Cutlets, you had everybody doing that.
Guy got a marinara sponsor, Marana. You know, he got a little sponsorship out of it from
Absolutely,
the people.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
that's my take on the. That's my take on the big game. We do have a lot of stuff coming up behind the scenes. We will have a Monday show for a recap, and then we'll have Wednesday Gap Wedge after that. Our schedule is going to get a little bit of shaky after that. We will try to get something secure of what days. It'll probably drop down to a 2-day week.
We'll definitely be on Wednesdays.
We definitely have Formula One coming back.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big one. We got some big news out of Red Bull. Obviously, Christian Horner's in trouble. We have
Horner.
Lewis Hamilton moving. We don't. I think it's more about it's a power struggle. There's the Austrians that are that want control of the team.
Seems like a manufactured story. Honestly, like the way I read into it is kind of like.
But I'm not going to discredit anybody, but it just seems fishy. It just seems like, okay, we're on top now. All right, let's move on. The guy, Christian Horner is a billionaire anyway, but still to have his reputation, whatever. That's
Ginger Spice, right? Ginger Spice, that's his.
But Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, reports are it's $100 million a year.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That is nuts. And then we got the paint schemes of the cars. Everybody's going to black cars now. There's a lot going on that we're going to be breaking down as the season goes on. So we'll be bouncing between probably Wednesday, Fridays, and Wednesday, Mondays, things of that nature. Otherwise, we might do some short segments. You might see us a little bit more on the real side of things. Giving breakdowns on short stories and shorts via YouTube versus the entire podcast. So we'll be sure to keep you guys out. Make sure that you're following us on Instagram and Facebook for all of your social media content. We'll be sure to put that out there. Until then, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy the last weekend of football. It's a sad, sad time. We're about to enter the dark days of sports once again. And it's just no place. It's just no place.
Make sure you're safe this weekend as well, too. Be safe. Listen, there's nothing more important than getting your beauty rest, but let's try to get up before 3:00 most days if we can. You know, it's the only thing I'll say.
Oh my God.
Y'all be great.
Until then, everybody have a great weekend. Please, for the love of God. Oh, also, the Florida legislature is trying to pass an aggressive bill to target left lane drivers. I saw it this morning on the shitter. Couldn't have been more excited. It
almost had an accident.
It rocketed out of me. Thank God I was already sitting down because there was no pucker. It was all relaxed. Woo!
The bedpan was moved away. You were good to go.
Man. Oh, please, for the love of God, let's crack down on these left-hand lane drivers because that is why we have so much traffic. Until then, we'll see you back here on Monday. If you're San Francisco 49ers, go 49ers. If you're for the Chiefs,
go Niners.
Chiefs. We'll just be looking for a good game. We'll talk to you then.
Go Niners.